This is Jason's Electronics Repair. Welcome to my ER. We are back with switch number 1008. This is the extremely liquid damaged phone, and I am going to use the two-scope method to put on a new port on this. First, I'm going to get some solder wick, and there's a little bit of corrosion on these USB-C pads, so I'm going to clean them, and with some solder, I'm going to actually braid them, which I don't recommend doing, but I am going to do that on these because it is necessary. So sometimes that is necessary. Of course, my fume extractor has come off. Okay, so I'm going to get this lined up here under the microscope. Hopefully. Zoom out one. And then we're going to focus this for you guys. How does that look for me? It's good for me. I need to lower it just a little bit. Okay. Now, let's try that. It needs to come down a little bit on the scope here. And then let's get it all in focus for you here. And there we go. And that's in focus for me. In the center. It's definitely not in the center for me, but it'll be all right. So we're going to come in here. We have our Hakko iron here. We have a FM 2027 with a monstrous tip on here. We are going to add some solder to the pads. Fume extractor on. I'm not touching the pad, I'm just hovering over it with the iron here, adding some solder as I go here. Just gonna get that changed over to leaded. Add a little bit of leaded to these brown points here. And now because that has a little bit of corrosion on it, I am going to wick that away. I don't recommend wicking the pads of the Nintendo Switch, but I am going to do it nonetheless. Trying to get out this brown pad here. That one out. Being a little stubborn on some of these, so I'm going to clean my iron. I'm going to add a little bit more solder to this one here. A little bit more leaded. Get that all mixed in there, and I'm going to come back in with the wick and hopefully it all taken out of there. No, not quite. Close enough, I think. So there we go. So those are wicked off, and now we're going to clean it up. I'll let my iron cool down because I need to switch tips. So we're going to clean this up real quick. I'm just going to use a toothbrush and some flux remover. Just gently. You don't want to put stress and flex the board. You just want to gently clean it. And then come in here with a cotton bud here and some isopropyl alcohol and clean off that flux remover. Now the flux remover is a type of alcohol. Just want to get it poured on here. So now I have been lately heating it from above and dropping the port on, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to change tips back to my other tip. Okay, so I got my other tip back in. I'm going to turn my iron back on. And I'm going to add a little bit of flux. There we go. Tip wasn't inserted all the way, so add a little bit of flux to these pads. And then I'm just going to tin them up a little bit. So I have a good amount of tin on them, and then I'm going to tin the USB-C port. And then we're going to install this. And I'm going to go back to my old method of installing these ports. So just going in a nice circular motion here, getting solder on all the pads. All right, so now I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to get that little bit of high spot off of the side here. Hopefully, anyways. Get a high spot there. A little bit of high spot there. All right, so there we go. So we got that taken care of. Now we're going to tin our port. Grab a port out of my port box here. Normally I would use the micro pencil for this, but I do not have the micro pencil with the right tip, and I don't want to deal with all that right now. So I'm going to focus in on that, and I'm just going to hold this down. I'm going to add some flux to these right here. Now this is the first time I'm pre-tinning the port. I've never done this before. So we'll see how it goes. All right. All right, they're all 10. It doesn't look like I did any damage. So there we go. I will just lightly dab some alcohol on that. Don't get any stray fibers or anything on it. You do want to clean it off a little bit. I had one of these that had a broken pin on it and it sold me for a while. All right. So there we go. So now I'm going to switch off of that camera. And I'm going to move it out of the way. And I'm going to come in here and get my other Andonstar set up here with a different. First, I'm going to clean off this flux that's on the board here. I probably should have looked to see if there was enough solder on those pads. Looks like there is. So I'm going to switch on this scope here. Let's see if I can do this here. Is it this one? Huh. Of course, it's not going to work now. Did it do anything like that? Is that that one? Okay, that's that camera. Why is that camera showing up? Under that, why isn't this? Why isn't this USB video connected? Oh, not even detecting that that USB stick that's plugged in there. That's hilarious. Okie dokie. Oh, I definitely need to hook up a switch for this. So what I want to have to do is run this over to, is it this one? No, that's not the one. I'm just going to be a second here, guys. All right, so let's activate that and deactivate it. There we go. So we have the, I'm going to put it over here so you guys can still see what I'm doing to the board. Sorry about that, technical difficulties. That's very irritating. All right, so I want to get my Hakko Omnivice here, and I'm going to lower it down. I take a old USB-C port and I stick it in one side. And then I take my board and I stick it in the other side, and that seems to give me a nice level playing field to work with. So we're going to come in here, we're going to move some stuff out of the way, and we're going to put this here, and we're going to focus it up like so. Hopefully getting everything into the shot. Okay, so there is that. And we are going to set this port on here. So I'm going to do it from underneath. So I'm going to raise my air back up to 460. Airflow of 65, 70. Airflow of 70 out of 120. So I got my port. I need my port install tweezers. So I drop the port on like so, and then I can tap it and hold it down. All right, so I'm going to come in here, let my air heat up, and I'm going to heat it from the bottom this time. I'm going to wait for those joints to flow. See, with the other scope, I can't do this way. Just want to heat that up. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of flux to this. Add some flux. I'm heating up all around the board here, not just where the port's going, but I'm warming up the whole area here. So the heat isn't leached away immediately. We're just waiting for that solder to become liquid. And it's just a take your time kind of moment. You don't need to rush this. You want to make sure your ground pegs are liquid. See, we're starting to get a little liquid on the pads, but I have a little bit of unleaded solder in this hole right here that I need to make sure gets melted. So we should be just about there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the port in. I'm going to press it down. I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to put my air away. Hopefully put my air away. All right, so I should be 100% connected. We will check to see if there's a gap on this pin right there. Now, let's see if they are connected. They don't seem to be moving. Let's see if I can get over here and focus on that and see if I can get any of them to move here. You know, it's a bad angle, but we're gonna. Oh, they all seem to be attached. This may be a good port install. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up now that it's had some time to cool down. Clean it up with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I can get it back into view here. I'm just going to clean it up very gently. I don't want to knock it off because I haven't soldered the ground legs yet. Just want to clean it up a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to come in here with the ground legs here. So come in here with some solder. All right, so we got, this one could be a little bit better here. There we go. So there we go. We got that port in, and we are going to let that cool down the rest of the way. We'll take it out of the board. What I like to do is, while the flux is still hot, I take a little bit of contact cleaner. Let me get this out of here. And I like to take a little bit of contact cleaner, and I like to spray it inside of the port to break up any flux. Stuff is nasty, I hate it, but it does break up any flux inside the port. So just like to spray that in there, and then I like to wipe it up off the bench before it gets all dry and sticky. So there we go. Port installed on this this switch. When we come back, we will get it running. Thank you guys for watching. Links to how you can support the channel in the description below. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day.